Welcome back, YouTube. Had to sip on some of this bootleg. The story we getting into today is gonna be a little crazy. It happened March 2nd, 2020. It was at like...
It was more like March 3rd.
Yeah, like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Really like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was closer to 1. It was for
closer to
sure.
1 in the morning.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into it, right?
We was in the bed and we was asleep. You know, all that. And then, ooh, it's thunder.
No, we're not finna do that. Because that wasn't even how it was.
Now you gonna lie to the folks.
You were asleep. I was not asleep, so I have to tell my part because I was actually up for it.
Alright, just know it went woo. Look, alright, go ahead, tell them folks what happened. Tell them folks what happened.
Okay, so it was technically March 2nd. We had just came back in the house from a regular little day, nothing too crazy. And he went to sleep early that day. And it had to been around midnight. I'm still up watching YouTube and the TV started going on and off, right? So I'm just sitting there just thinking like, well, I know it's finna storm because I keep getting the alerts on my phone. I did get an alert saying there's gonna be a tornado, but we done had those alerts several times and it's never touched down. So I'm not thinking anything of it.
And then the storm went boom.
So
everywhere.
So the lights going on and off, well, the TV going on and off is not really concerning to me. So I tried to use my remote to turn the TV off and it wasn't turning off. So I'm just like, okay. So I had to get up and actually flip the switch on the wall to make the TV go off. We got the bedroom window open. The only window that's in the room is open. He's asleep. I didn't climb back into bed, waiting a few seconds so I could turn the TV back on. The TV never come back on. So then I just hear this loud whistling noise. Like, it was so loud, it's almost like if you used to hear like the purge sirens or something, that's how loud the wind was. And he still asleep throughout the whole thing, the whole warm-up, because that's really what it was. It was just a warm-up. And so I got another alert saying tornado warning. It's, I think it was in Clarksville, or coming from that direction. So now...
It come from East Nashville.
So now, because it's super loud, I'm trying to wake him up. He finally wake up, but you know when somebody wake you up out your sleep, you kind of slow at the beginning. So you kind of like not really comprehending what's going on. So I'm telling him like, what you was mad about? Because
you woke me up out of my sleep. You gonna talk about some. She gonna wake me up. I finally wake up gonna talk about some.
You don't hear that?
Oh yeah, first that's what she said first. First it was, you don't hear that? Hear what? Yeah, what you hear? It's raining, so. Then it's a tornado outside. Man, quit playing. No, it ain't. That's what I tell her. It ain't no damn tornado outside. Ain't no tornado. What? Stop playing. That ain't even funny. What? A tornado outside. Then all of a sudden, literally, the second after I said that, I don't know what happened. But the second after that, the building got the shaking. The winds got the moving.
And mind you, our bedroom window is open, so we can feel how strong this wind is pulling.
Yeah.
It was so crazy, like, and it happened so fast. We ain't had time to get out the bed, to go to the hallway or go to the bathroom to get in the tub. All we could do was hug each other, and he pulled the cover over my head. I guess basically like some glass was gonna fly through there. It wasn't gonna be able to cut me. Because that's all that cover was gonna be protecting, was if I was to get a scratch or something.
Well, it was crazy.
Well, the debris.
It was crazy because that window was open and we was right there at the window and the tornado was literally outside the building. I ain't talking about like it was down the street. It ran into the building next to us and took like a whole area of the building is just gone.
It was literally right in our breezeway. Like once the tornado was over, we noticed that everything was pitch black outside. So first thing for us to do, that we thought to do at least, was to throw on some clothes and let's go check the car and stuff. Like, see how bad it is outside. Cause I'm still, like, I know this was a tornado, but I'm still not believing like this was a whole tornado that just ran through here and was this close to us. Like, we could have been gone had it just rerouted just a little bit. If it would have just came over to the right just a little bit, our apartment would have been completely gone.
Yeah. It was a car on the 3rd floor.
Yeah. On
the 3rd floor.
It was the same complex, but it was another building. So we put on our clothes. We go open the door. It's pitch black outside, but we could hear our neighbors, and they got their flashlights out. We hear a lady crying, and you just hear a whole lot of commotion. Everybody trying to figure out, is everybody okay? Things of that nature. So one of our neighbors was like, "Man, come in here. My mom, she was scared, so she came out to the hallway, and right when she came into the hallway, a branch flew through her window and stabbed her door into the wall. So she just had like a big branch hanging out of her wall."
Yeah, and that was God, because
if she was sitting in there, she wouldn't have made it.
If she was sitting right there, she would have died.
Instantly.
She would have died.
It wouldn't have been no way to save her.
It would have went through her body. Because it went through her window, for starters.
At an angle, though. It was like in the top left corner.
Then it went through her window and went through her door. Went through her door, and then after that went through the wall. Mm-hmm. So it went through all three, and it was all the way out the other side of the wall. So yeah, if she was still sitting in that same spot, it would have went straight through her body. That would have been the only way for it to even get to the door. Mm-hmm. And you could still see where she was sitting on her bed. Like, you can see the print of her body right there. That's crazy, because she got up and walked out of there, and then boom, here come tree branches flying. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. Then
and that was only one neighbor.
The people that live above them, they ceiling fell in on them while they in the bed. They on the top floor, sleep. Ceiling fell in on them. They couldn't get nothing out their room. I'm talking about nothing. I had to go back downstairs. I had to get that man some drawers, some pants, some socks, and a shirt and a hoodie. Like, it was bad.
They came outside with no clothes on, wrapped up in a bed sheet. And they told us, like, "Hey, come in and see this. Our whole ceiling collapsed." We walk in, and literally their entire ceiling collapsed. The drywall on the walls was just basically uprooted. That's the best way for me to describe it.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing.
It wasn't no type of. It wasn't no way they should have been able to make it out of there. To be honest, like, all of that was just by the grace of God that both neighbors was able to get out before they were injured, because it would have been bad. Like, you can go in the doorway of their bedroom to look in, because you can't walk in because the whole ceiling collapsed. But you could just look in and look up and see the sky from, their bedroom.
And that was crazy, because, that could have easily killed them. That could have killed them. Mm-hmm. They could have died right there in the bed. But luckily, nobody in our building was hurt.
I don't think nobody
in our apartments was hurt.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because the car that was on the 3rd floor, out of all things to go through, it went through the breezeway and went through the wall. So, it ended up in somebody's living room rather than somebody's bedroom, that was good. There wasn't a body in there in the living room when the car came in, because that would have been all kind of bad. But we want to talk about cars over there. If you had a car over there, if it was 300 cars over there, 275 of them was messed up.
Yeah.
275 of them was gone. Yeah,
you had some window was busted, at least.
It was some people that was mad. They wouldn't get nothing for their car. It was one of the dudes down the street had the dumpster sitting on top of his car.
Yeah.
I know he was pissed off. Because there was nothing he could do. Nothing at all.
My car got hit. A tree fell straight onto the back of my car, so my back window busted out. It basically just realigned the framework of my car. So my car ended up being considered totaled. So my insurance company had to, pay me so that I would be able to get another car. And they also paid off, you know, whatever past, well, not past, but future, what is it?
They paid
payments
off,
or whatever. They paid my car off.
They paid off first car. But
that's just the beginning to the story, really, because the days following that, that happened at 1 a.m. The tornado came through at 1 a.m. From that time,
so people didn't know what to do.
Yeah, from that time to the following morning, once it was light out, everybody was still outside checking on their cars, basically checking the property out. I'm gonna insert some pictures of what it, you know, actually looked like outside of our breezeway. How the trees were literally uprooted out of the ground, like the concrete was broke. These was some old granddaddy trees, like they was full grown.
These ain't no little trees. You not planting these. These trees been here for years and years, decades on top of decades.
Yeah.
These trees is old.
The pictures will show the wiring or whatever, you know, like from the light poles being completely destructed.
Man, wasn't nothing standing. Wasn't nothing standing but the structure of maybe the building, but nothing else was standing. Light poles. It wasn't a light pole in sight standing up. You want to talk about a hazard zone? Man, every couple steps you take, you can die. It's something dangerous. Whether it's a power line or some tree limbs, or glass, or whatever, you name it, it was out. Like, it was crazy. So with nobody with no power, no water, no nothing.
None. And that happened like basically Monday night. So Tuesday mornings when we started dealing with the consequences of it. We had some people that actually lived in the complex that had saws and things like that started helping to remove some of the trees off of the cars and out of the parking lot so that people whose cars are movable or drivable will be able to go in and out. And this was before the city actually came and started helping. We did have a lot of volunteers from the city, but that was just as the days continued to go on. It was so bad to the point where they had police kind of blocking off streets trying to tell us that we can't come in and out of the apartment complex, even though we're still currently living there.
It was just that bad, like.
Yeah, they didn't want us coming back.
I had to just go on drive past the police. Like, I didn't care. I just had to go ahead and pedal to the metal. He gonna have to chase me.
Yeah, it was really, really, I don't know, altogether.
We had to get home.
Yeah, a lot of people was asking if we were scared. One, he didn't have time to be scared because he was asleep. And I just didn't have time to be scared simply because it just came too fast. It literally, like, was in a blink of an eye, everything was just uprooted. Yeah,
and then we pretty much was man versus wild at that point. So
we stayed in the apartment up until Friday, up until the last day they said we could stay there, even though we didn't have no electricity, no water, nothing. So we literally was like getting up every morning to go take a shower, brush our teeth, stuff like that at his mom's house. And then we'll just stay out all day until...
Child be wanting to shower, you heard me? Oh, let me use a shower every now and then. Appreciate you, home. Let us use a shower and get soap and get washcloth.
I didn't use her soap. We had our own.
Yeah, we did have our soap. I stole some oranges, though.
We used her toothpaste, though.
We definitely used your toothpaste.
But anyways, point is, that's what we did for the next 4 days. We was just getting up every morning, going to his mother's house to go shower and take care of personal hygiene, things like that. Then we'll stay out all day, literally until about anywhere between 8-10 o'clock at night before we went back in the house, just so that we didn't have to, worry about getting up to use the bathroom and all of that. So we were thugging it out in there. Yeah, it was
good meals. It was going down in there.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't too bad. Like,
I got a super flashlight, so it light the whole room up. We was kicking. kitchen?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, it's not something that I would recommend doing because it
was
wasn't a livable situation.
No. It was cold.
But we didn't have nowhere else to go. Like, he has family in Nashville, but his family has family. So it wasn't like people just had extra bedrooms just waiting on us. So we just did what we had to do, which was staying there because we had a bed. So it was like, why will we up and leave our bed to go sleep on somebody's couch or on somebody's living room floor?
When we cool.
The only thing we worry about is whether or not...
scared of the dark.
Yeah, because he kept the flashlight on the door the entire night. But other than that, he cut my tree. I mean, he cut the tree off of my car.
Multi-talented.
That's how we was able to get around for them few days to even get to go take a shower.
Had to literally cut a passage out the apartments to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, the trees was everywhere. It wasn't no getting out of there. It was so much in the way. So, not only did we have to cut the car from under the trees, but we had to cut all the cars right there from under the trees because some cars had to get out first to let other cars out. So, we did that first. Then we started cutting pathways and moving trees so we could have actual pathways to get out. Luckily, we was at the entrance. So
it all worked out.
Better, yeah.
Throughout that time, the leasing office did have employees come in with food and water and things like that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The leasing office also gave us a list of apartments that were, accepting tornado victims, which that didn't last very long, considering that it wasn't just our area. We were in Hermitage. It wasn't just our area. It was, the entire city, pretty much. They needed assistance. So you had Airbnb, you had hotels, you had apartments. But the thing is with the apartments was our leasing office told us that if you go here, you don't have to worry about paying anything.
They was lying.
That they gonna work with you because they understand what's going on. Half of y'all didn't pay y'all rent already, so they already know that you waiting on that money to come back to you, this, that, and the third. When we get to these apartments, that's not the case at all. They still want us to put down a down payment on top of half of that month's rent. And it's just like, how you expect people to do that when they literally just lost everything? Cars, apartments, furniture, whatever the case is. But y'all still want us to pay something. Where is the assistance in it? Is how I was feeling. Some of them were like, we can't even let you in without check stubs. For both of us, the jobs that we had or was about to have was in the line of the tornado. So even though I was finna start a job, it wasn't gonna happen regardless because it got hit by a tornado. The job that he had already had got hit by a tornado as well. So it was just like, we can't win. So we tried to see all options. Stay out there in Nashville, just go from family member, stay with this family member for however long we can, or either come back to Chicago and stay with my friend who offered, us a room, and just try and pick up the pieces from here and then decide what our life gonna be like once we back on our feet. So that was a lot.
That was crazy.
It was a whole lot of...
It was crazy.
Confusion. It was a whole lot of miscommunication.
But let me tell you though, that a tornado will show you who your family is and who not. A tornado will show you, a tragedy will show you who really rock with you and who don't rock with you. Like, for real. Like, Shout out to all the folks that didn't have to be asked and helped out. Shout out to all the folks that didn't have to be asked and he even had a concern about if we was all right, if we was cool. Like,
most importantly,
for sure.
Most importantly, I just want to say, I appreciate everybody that don't look at this situation that happened between us and try and make it something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people consider us to be homeless or things of that nature, and it's just like, we're homeless by default. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, technically we're not even homeless. We have a roof over our head. We was offered, a room so that we can get back on our feet. But some people look at us as though we homeless, as if we had a choice or something like that, which is completely beyond me, and it's completely absurd and, you know, insensitive considering the circumstances. But that's neither here nor there. We just want to tell y'all our story about how we were involved in a tornado in Nashville.
And we won.
And we came out alive.
And we won.
And now we just quarantining.
And now we just quarantining and chilling. Quarantining and chilling. You did. Quarantine.
Do you?